Ladies and gentlemen, bass players around the world, we hanging out here at the Detroit Bass Fest at Burt's Warehouse Theater, downtown Detroit, not so much downtown, with none other than one of my friends, a Cleveland bass player.
That's right.
Who's going to be performing here at the Bass Fest and answering some questions, doing a clinic type thing. None other than Mr. Doug Johns. How you doing, Doug?
I'm doing great, Ivan. Here in Detroit. Love it in here in Detroit.
Yeah, so how's the Bass Fest been so far?
Well, Bill Clements just played. I love this event. The Detroit bass community is a real strong community. They're very, they come out in full force. I mean, you have to get some shots in the room. It's packed right now, you know. And Bill just went up, played, and did his thing, which we were talking about that. We take it for granted. You know, he's playing with one arm, and he's killing it, you know.
Yeah, I saw that.
So I just love the Detroit Bass Fest. It's just a great hang. And it gets better as the night goes on, too. Good friend from Jocko 3X from Chicago. We've done a lot of shared dates together. And Jocko's always cool, and he's got a new drummer tonight. So if I could plug what I got going on, we got a new CD that we're releasing here at the fest. My new CD, I should have a copy here with me, called Blomp. And I'm featuring my new drummer tonight, Jay Sims. And then, of course, the show is going to be closed with Nate Watts, who I'm excited to hear Nate's wisdom. You know, I got to talk to him a little bit out there, and I'm a big fan of Nate Watts.
Nate Watts is here already?
Yeah.
I didn't even see him.
Yeah, he's here. He was running around outside out there.
Okay, well, I'm not going to keep you, man, but I always like to know, and I've always wanted to know ever since I knew you since 2008 or 9, whenever it was.
We've been knowing each other that long?
Yeah, but we met at at one of your bass shows. And
okay.
Then at the Guitar Center. Those were some years.
Cool.
Now, one of the questions I always wanted to ask you, and this is one of the questions I always ask a lot of people.
Yeah.
When did you start playing the bass, and why?
I started playing the bass, I want to say, I'm just going to take a guess here, probably around 12, 13 years old, somewhere around there. And I played the drums first. I wanted to be a drummer. My aunt's a drummer. My grandpa was a drummer. I love the drums. And my brother put a band together who is a guitar player, and they needed a bass player. They said, if you want to be in the band, my older brother, and of course I wanted to be in the band, he says, you got to play bass. So that's how it was, more out of, if you want to play, here's the instrument you got to play.
Dig.
And I've been in love with it ever since. I still play the drums though. I love the drums.
But you can't play them both at the same time.
Man, well, maybe a little bit.
Or have you tried it yet?
I've tried it, maybe a little bit.
Well, loving drummers and loving that bass. When you started playing, did you start listening to other bass players? Did you have any influences? And just name me your influences and some of your favorite bass players.
Right. Well, you know, I think the time I was coming up, I know it now how lucky I was, you know, to listen to the musicians that I grew up listening to. You know, Jimi Hendrix, you know, Jocko and Stanley. You know, a lot of rock and roll, even too, like Led Zeppelin. You know, Gonzalo Rubalcaba, piano player, I got into in later years. But bass player wise, you know, I think Jocko and Stanley were definitely a huge influence. The ground they paved for guys like myself. I mean, what they did and what they're doing wasn't done before them. You know, it wasn't done. Larry Graham. You know, look what Larry Graham has done. To this day, I mean, I still, you know, shed on some Larry Graham tunes. It's about transferring that feeling into the air, into the audience, you know. And that's what these guys, it's timeless what these guys do. Today, you know, there's so many killer bass players. It's not like when I was coming up. I'm sure you would agree. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's playing the bass, which is cool, you know. And the way they're playing coming out the box now, it's amazing.
Oh yeah.
Compared to like when we was coming up, you know, we did the bar gigs, you know, and just laying down the groove, which I don't know, to a degree, we need to come back to that, I think, you know.
Yeah, technology has helped a lot
Yeah.
for these guys.
Yeah, the video, the whole video generation.
Yeah, we had to put the needle on the record and
That's right.
take it off.
And you got good to where you could put that needle in the exact same spot every time.
Yeah.
With the penny sitting on it.
And these guys now, they just turn on YouTube.
That's right.
And they tell them everything they need to know.
I mean, you get lost. Sometimes I'll get on YouTube and you get lost in a YouTube moment. 3 hours goes by,
Yeah.
You finally get to see the cats playing the tunes that you learned on the record, So it's cool.
Well, how did you become such an extraordinary bass player? I mean, you ain't just a regular run-of-the-mill bass player. Folks, I recommend that you go purchase this man's current CD, which is called Blanc.
Blanc, yeah.
Blanc. But don't sleep on his previous CDs like
That's right. Stank.
and Pocket Full of Nasty.
That's right.
So y'all go check this out. This is an extraordinary bass player. He don't like to think so, but he's extraordinary on the bass, and he flies and all that kind of good stuff. And,
I appreciate that.
What happened, man? Why did you decide to take it there? When most of us we just peak at a certain level and we cool just sitting there, but you wanted to take it to the solo level, and you do a lot of drum and bass shows all over the country. Why did you keep pushing the envelope?
I don't know. I do have a short attention span. So I do. It's one thing I've noticed as I've gotten older. I've got a short attention span. So I'm always looking for new areas to go. And again, I think I come back to the drumming thing, Ivan. When I was saying I started on the drums, all we're doing is transferring those rhythms, onto drums, which that's never ending, and adding notes to them, So I'm always into finding those new rhythms and finding some notes that go with it. I mean, it never ends, It's all about the rhythm,
Okay, so do you thump or am I imagining you thumping, or are you just plucking hard? How do you get that thump sound?
It's funny because I don't know how to do what I think they call it double thumping. I don't know how to do that, I mean, I hit the string like this and pop back up with the fingers, but I dig into the strings kind of deep with my fingers. And I think a lot of times people think I'm doing this when I'm actually just doing it with my fingers,
Absolutely. That's what I thought.
Yep.
Until I saw you, and then I was like, wow, this guy just taking things.
I'm not doing a whole bunch of this, but some of it,
Right.
Just kind of digging in. I call it digging in.
That's exactly what I call it. You dig in and push real hard, and it gives you that blump.
Yep, yeah, blump, exactly. The trick, though, is not getting so aggressive that you can't muscle it too much. You want to get that same snap, but you shouldn't happen to be exerting tons of energy. You want that nice focused motion.
Right, and does a low setting on your action to help with that? Or?
Yeah, pretty much my neck is holding up my strings. I do set them low, but you can live and die by that. Like if I do a record date, I'll loosen up the neck and bring the strings away. Certain songs and certain music requires a certain setup on the bass.
Okay, man. Well, like I said, I didn't want to keep you.
You ain't keeping me, man.
Is it? Before I let you go, we just gonna take a little bit at your set of your clinic right quick, okay?
Okay.
Only get 40 seconds for the next song.
I feel like I can talk on it. I might be able to do that on another bass, but this one it just feels good. Thank you. So yeah, it's an 86 Padula. It's nothing special. It's kind of like a jazz bass with more frets. And it does a lot of spectrums, this bass, I've done gospel gigs with it, rock, straight funk, blues, this bass.
And that was wonderful, man. That was really wonderful what you just did. Is there anything you'd like to say in closing, man?
Yeah, I think I'm going to stay on this drum thing. If I could say anything to bass players out there, get behind the kit, and realize what it's like to be working with the bass player from that drum chair. Because if you gain that understanding, you'll become a better bass player. And that's it in a nutshell.
Okay, now speaking of drums, we got right over here.
That's right.
We got your drummer over here, man.
Come on over here, Jay, in the camera.
Yeah, pull up a chair. We got
So let me tell you a little bit about this cat. We met years ago. Jordan Simmons, we call him Jay Sims.
How you doing, everybody?
He just got the chop. He's got the drop. He's got a really mean pocket, and it's a magnetic pocket. That's what I always call it.
and your name again is what?
Jordan Simmons. Jordan J. Sims is my stage name. Simmons.
Now, do we find you? Both of you guys reside in Cleveland, right?
That's right. Yeah.
And you got another show. When your next show coming up, man? In case somebody see this one.
Well, at the Winchester in Lakewood, Ohio, just outside of Cleveland. Was it December 22nd?
December 22nd.
We're doing a show there, and we're starting to book for the year right now. I'm sure we'll return to the Rocky Mountain Bass Slam, which is usually around May or June, and events such as the Detroit Bass Fest.
Right.
NAMM show, yeah, I forgot about that.
We had NAMM this year.
And that's NAMM in January.
January, yeah.
I hope to make it to NAMM.
You gotta come out, Ivan. You gotta come out.
Bring my camera and bass this time.
You'd be like a kid in the candy store, man.
Okay, so man, like I said, that was a nice set y'all just did, man, and thank you, Doug Johns. Again, y'all need to check out Doug Johns. You can where can we find you?
DougJohns.com. You can hit me up on Twitter and Facebook and all that stuff. But if you head to the website DougJohns.com, everything kind of stems from there.
Okay, and Jay.
DougJohns.com also. Make sure you go get that CD, Blom.
That's right. Blom's
Available
coming
now.
to you today. Blom's getting debut in Detroit Bass Fest.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you on behalf of Detroit Bass Players.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.